and the no's are 48. Dr. Sarah Page, who is the AMAWA Dermatology rep, joins us right now. G'day, Dr. Sarah. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Simon. Thanks so much for having me.
No worries.
On the program.
Yeah. You're welcome. It's an amazing idea. You kind of compared it to how crunch and sip has become socialised in schools, and you're floating the idea that maybe we could, reapply sunscreen to our kids around lunchtime.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think the schools are really the place that it has to happen. And I think we need to really realise that sunscreen is not that fun, but it needs to be like brushing your teeth. And the earlier that we start people getting used to it, the better it is, really.
Yeah. And is scientifically, medically, Sarah, is it, are young kids' skin more vulnerable and more likely to see melanoma later in life, or is it sort of all through your life?
Look, I think most of the sun damage for most people is done in the early years. So in my clinic, I see people who've had a lot of sunburns, and often it's been in their earlier years. And what we know is that moles will develop up to the age of about 23 or 24. So in those younger years, that's when we really should be targeting people using sunscreen. And as you know, the most common type of cancer in young people between the age of 18 and 24 is actually melanoma. And that's what I see in my clinic all the time.
So my kids have gone to school, Sarah, and they do wear long sleeves during summer. They do wear hats. The schools have a culture around that, but not around sunscreen itself. They might get some sunscreen in the morning or before they go out to play outdoor sport. But you're saying take it a step further, are you? And are you putting it on the kids to apply it?
So I think, obviously I'm a dermatologist, so my children get sunscreen every morning. But what I found is that by lunchtime, we know that it's worn off. So we've had 4 hours of sunscreen and then it's gone. And so, yes, the hat no play is great, but sunscreen protects the areas that are exposed, which is, back to the hands. Often people, still getting sun on their faces, noses. And that as they get older, often we'll find, that's actually where we're removing skin cancers from a lot. Obviously, it is really sort of, people are starting to realise how important it is, but I see teenagers literally every week in my clinic, especially in summer, trying to get tan lines. And I thought it's just really important to be able to get it earlier, because what I find is that for teenagers, it's not that popular. And I think the campaigns before are trying to make things cool, and sunscreen is not cool. But what we find is that teenagers brush their teeth, and if we could make, teenagers don't stop brushing their teeth, but if we had implemented things earlier, then that's when we actually can make a difference. So it has to be habit forming more than anything. Which
crunch and sip is, isn't it?
I know. And that's made a massive difference. As a parent, you don't even think about it. You have to do it. Otherwise, you're sort of shamed as the parent who forgot to give them celery or something.
It's now the question with mine. She says, I say, what do you want in your crunch and sip? And she'll tell me. I want an apple, and I want some carrot, and I want some zucchini, that has worked. Sarah, lots of questions. But if it's okay, I want to take a call. I think Gary from Tapping might support your idea. G'day, Gary.
Yeah.
Hi, Simon.
Hi.
Yes. Hello.
Hi, Gary. Hi.
Yes, I'm actually in that category. I used to do a lot of long distance running, and didn't worry too much about sunscreen or wearing hats or anything, and it wasn't until I got to my 40s that I started getting a lot of skin cancers over the face, and I was going backwards and forwards getting skin cancers burnt off, and I got a bad one on my nose, which I had to have my nose cut open and taken out, and but I've been very lucky. But I had a nephew who used to play a lot of sport, and he was reddish hair, and he ended up dying in his early 40s of a melanoma. There's actually thousands of people that are dying each year, and when you're young, you think you're bulletproof, and you don't need to have sunscreen. And you certainly do. And I was told by my specialist, even now, to to wear sunscreen every day of the year.
Yeah, that's. I work with Kira here wears sunscreen every day, even if when she's going to be inside all day. And Gary's probably like me, Sarah. It wasn't an issue when I was at school, but if it's sort of socialised politely into a day at school, it's a good thing. Some of our listeners are saying, well, we do need vitamin D, don't we, Sarah? It's good for us.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need some vitamin D, but we live in Australia and the UV is pretty much always high. So using sunscreen is not going to prevent you getting some vitamin D. We all get enough incidental sunlight to be able to have vitamin D.
Yep.
I don't think people should really worry about that. It's just the amount of sun we get is we're just talking about also really preventing people from incidental sunlight, because that's what we know with skin cancers is that the more you're exposed over a period of time, you might start to see these skin cancers, 10, 15, 20 years later, because a lot of them do take a little while to develop. And so, I think it just has to be built into schools. And then if we build it in when people are in primary school, it then just carries on to the teenage years.
All right, so it's an extension of no hat, no play. Maybe it can be just an everyday act like crunch and sip is, or sip and crunch is, but we'll see what our listeners think. Sarah, I know you're busy. Really appreciate your time today.
Oh, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. I'm really passionate about it. We need more sunscreen.
All right.
I need to cut out less skin cancers.
Good point. Thanks, Sarah. Have a good day.
Bye. Thank you very much. Bye.
Dr. Sarah Page, the dermatologist with the AMA.